Hey, Board Gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 121. Gumbo Live is the number one-ish Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. Our special guest tonight, we've got Monique and Naveen from Before You Play. You may have seen them recently on Rahdo's Top 10 Fillers, where they just stumped Rahdo the entire hour. It was an awesome episode. But Board Game Gumbo, a proud member of Punchboard Media. Hey, check out some of our other fine members like Cardboarding with Carla. It's a blog written by Carla Kopp. She's a board game designer, well known to the Gumbo. She's been on a million times. She talks about prototyping, accessibility, and productivity. And she also hosts a weekly game design live chat show on Facebook Live. Anybody can join in, discuss the topics of the day, or bring up any questions you have about publishing. Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Hey, hit us up tonight on social media, on our Twitter page or on Facebook at Board Game Gumbo. And we'll be looking for your questions in the chat. But look, that's enough blather. Let's get right to our special guests, Monique and Naveen. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
And Steve. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Steve.
Hey, so Monique and Naveen, just in case you guys were on a while back before, you had a pop-in visit with Jeremy Howard from Jambalaya and Man vs. Meeple. But this is the first time you guys have been on the full show. So give us the elevator pitch. Who is Monique and Naveen, and what is Before We Play?
Take it away.
You want me to take it away? Oh my gosh. Okay, so Before You Play is primarily a YouTube channel featuring both myself, Monique, and we do full two-player playthroughs. We also do some tutorial videos, but lately we've been doing basically how do games play at two players.
Yes, with reviews at the end. Yeah. That is primarily what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and it started out really, at least the first ones were awesome ways to teach games to gamers, but really from a unique perspective, how to teach the game, right?
Yes, that was about a year ago that we used to do those almost. And then suddenly he, joined the channel and wanted to play games on the channel. And then now that's like all we've been doing.
Yeah,
so.
I actually learned Valley of the Kings from watching your video.
You did?
Yeah, I got sent a review copy. I mean, the game is not that hard, of course, but hey, you know what? If I can have somebody teach me the game instead of having to actually read the rule book, that's the way to do it, right, Steve?
Right.
Hey, now it's a live show. We got a bunch of people checking in. Jesse Fernandez was the first one. Thomas is behind the times, Steve. I mean, Jesse's whooping up. We haven't seen Jesse in a while, so good to see you. Our favorite fisherman, Patrick Newman from down on the Gulf Coast. Hey, what's up? Checking in with Patrick. Patrick, you got any questions tonight? Don't forget to hit us. And of course, last week's guest, we had the number one baseball player in the world, Baseball Highlights 2045, Philip Millman. He just destroys everybody. And he came on, and of course, Steve, he destroyed everybody in the game. So hey, what's up, Philip? Always good to see you. So if anybody has any questions for Monique and Naveen, make sure we hit them. We're talking about some of the things before the show about the videos. You guys were on Rahdo's channel to do top 10 fillers. Is that a genre that's important to you guys?
Oh, yes.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's more important to me or you.
I think it's more important to you.
Okay,
but
just to get that
definitely,
straight.
Yeah.
But we love fillers just because we travel a lot, or we used to at least, and it was just an easy way to get gaming in wherever you are.
Right.
So, and there's so many really good
fillers. Travel for work. What's that?
There are just so many really good fillers out there that it's amazing what people can make in a 20-minute experience.
Yeah, we're normally we like longer, heavier Euro games, and so it's nice and refreshing to have a filler that you can play in about 15 to 20 minutes, and then get that much kind of a satisfaction or depth out of it as you would a longer, more epic game.
Yeah.
We could actually get Monique and Naveen to thumbs up and thumbs down, Steve, some of the chat crew's favorite fillers during the show. So, and I know you guys play a lot of heavy games, but I really enjoyed listening to the top 10. You actually mentioned a couple that I wasn't too sure about, but we'll talk about one of them tonight. One of them that's a favorite of mine. We'll talk about it later tonight. But hey, chat crew, if there's anything out there, check it in. We got a couple of new people here. Richard Bramlett. Hey, checking in. Hello, Richard. What's up?
Hey, Richmond.
Mark saying, hey. What's up?
Hey, Mark, what's going on?
Mark's our friend.
Oh, hey, Mark. Thank you for watching the show tonight. And, of course, Mr. Sean checking in. Good evening, Sean. Sean, give us your top 10 filler. Give us one of your top fillers, man. We'll get Monique and Naveen to critique them because they have played a lot. Hey, here is Thank you, Nick. You can watch the other debacle anytime you want to, man. Watch this debacle.
Ours is a weekly debacle.
Well, we are gonna have a debate. We're gonna debate the issues. What's the best filler out there? Nick says, hey, he recently discovered Monique and Naveen. Love your stuff. Look at that.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. That's so nice. It's awesome.
Game designer extraordinaire Jay Bell says, I made it, was having some trouble. Jay plays a lot of filler games. Jay, throw out some of those filler games. We want to get some critiques.
Yeah,
Here's
definitely.
one coming up. Mr. Sean says Red 7.
Yeah.
You guys like Carl Chuddick's classic?
Yeah,
I do like that one, yeah.
was I think that was the first one that we ever picked up. Technically,
Technically,
like when we got
one of our
into like
first
the
ones,
hobby
yeah.
space.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
I run a little board game club at the local high school, and the two games I brought right away were Red 7 and Yokai Septet.
Oh, nice.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, every kid knows how to play Hearts and Spades already. So and Bourrée down here. So translating Bourrée into Yokai Septet was pretty simple. And we'll talk about that game later. And the other one is I wanted them to think of a game. I wanted them to play a game where they've got to use other brain skills. It's not just, the typical Uno type of game, right? Nothing wrong with Fuji Flush. I absolutely love Fuji Flush. There's not a lot of thinking in that game.
Mhm.
Red 7 is different. Why do you guys like Red 7?
It constantly changes.
Yes.
If I can remember
Everything's
correctly.
in flux. I think,
Yeah, everything's in flux, and you kind of have to think on your feet, or like you have to be ready for what's coming up next, kind of thing.
There's player elimination, but it doesn't last long.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So with my little play group, the high schoolers can come in if they have to leave for band practice or they have to go to, something else. They can come in, step in. Have you ever played Red 7, Steve?
Yes, I have.
Well, actually, you and I played together on.
Yep.
Yeah, you and I
Yep.
played together on Board Game Arena.
And
Isn't that right?
she's totally got it right. The idea that it changes each time. You get to be alive so long as you can, make it so that it favors you at the end of your play. Good game.
Verla says Dairyman.
Mhm.
That's one I don't know. So let's bring in Verla. I don't know this one. Verla, what we got here? What's Dairyman?
Oh, the dice chucker.
Hey,
Yes.
am I muted still?
Oh,
You good?
we hear you.
Hey, yeah, Dairyman?
Mhm.
It is a push your luck dice game. You are rolling dice and you are trying to get milk so that you can make ice cream and cheese and all kinds of goodies to get points. And I introduce it to so many people. It goes on sale at Miniature Market a lot for like $6. I've gifted it about 10 times.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And everybody loves it. I've usually gifted it to non-gamers and they're like, this is the best ever.
It's very cute.
And you guys have played it?
We have,
Yes. It has a very good visual appeal. Definitely.
Chat crew, I don't know if you guys can stump them. I really don't think you're going to stump them.
Ooh.
We're gonna try.
You probably can.
Verla also said 6 Nimpton, Ink
Oh,
and
yeah.
Gold, two awesome ones.
Oh, yeah.
What do I call Ink and Gold, Stephen?
Ink can't stop.
Can't stop.
Ink can't stump. That's right. Good remember.
Yep.
Patrick says Christmas Vacation Twinkling Lights. Have you seen all these new card games that are coming out from Funko?
No, I don't know that one.
No, so we haven't heard of that one.
They're coming out right now. I think they're in stores right now. Patrick can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like 7 of them. And it's everything from Gremlins to that one, Christmas Vacation, all those little movies from the 80s and 90s. And they've made
Yes.
they made
I
these
saw
little
that.
games. They're
Yeah.
all 10-minute games, really short. They're all Elf is another one, the
Ooh.
movie Elf.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotta check that
That's
out.
right. It was about Christmas. Yeah, it's about that movie.
So is that going to look like that Chevy Chase movie?
Exactly. The
Oh,
Chevy
yeah.
Chase. Yep. All right. So that's about as close to you've heard of it, Dominique?
Yes, I saw a picture for it. We haven't played it, but now I think we might have to.
You want this to
Seems like-
become Stump Guests? Is that what you're trying to do?
I know, I like
Yes, tonight, if we can do that. All right. Jay always pulls out stuff when he comes in.
Oh, he has some good
I just
ones.
don't know. Ramen Fury. That is not
Ooh.
one I know.
I don't know that
I've
one.
seen that.
Oh, so
It's
there you
like
go.
packaged like a thing
Like
of ramen.
top ramen.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I haven't played it though, but it looks interesting.
Silver and
Yeah.
Gold, of course, Steve.
I
That's
played
what you
Silver
like
and
a lot. Phil Walker Harding, right?
I do like Phil Walker
Great
Harding.
Yeah.
Copenhagen
Forge.
Roll and Write? Oh, that's the Copenhagen game from Queen Games that they've turned into a roll and write. Yeah,
Right.
I'm
Yes,
familiar.
they
with
do
that.
have roll and write.
I
Yeah.
Chat crew, you're gonna have to work harder. I'm sorry. I don't think we can stump Monique and Naveen at all. All right, Steve, I'm gonna send you back down to the chat crew, and then you take care of that.
I'll keep
Sounds good. All right. So, BJ from Morgan Gumbo, I've got my guests here, Monique and Naveen from Before You Play. And we were talking before is that you guys started out with teaching games, and then it's kind of morphed since then. What are y'all doing now?
Well, it's kind of morphed. I feel like we do a majority playthroughs on our channel, but the emphasis on our playthroughs is still to teach games. I think that's pretty much something that we're always going to be focusing on, I think. Because before we started our channel, we actually used to teach games at our local convention. So that's where this whole, passion for getting out into the media world even came about.
Right.
And y'all are on the West Coast, right?
We are,
yes,
yeah.
we're in California.
Yep.
California. Okay. So what is your local con?
It's called
Strategicon.
Yeah.
Oh, Strategicon. Okay.
Yeah, so it happens 3 times a year. Once is during President's Day weekend, Memorial Day weekend, and then Labor Day weekend. And so we're approaching about a year of
without it.
No con. Yeah.
We're spoiled. We get it 3 times a year. Yeah. So for us to even go like one time without it is such a sad time. But
Early, you're on the West Coast, but that's too far. Is Strategicon too far for you?
What city?
It's in Los Angeles. It's right like by the airport.
By LAX.
Okay. I could pop down, catch
Where
a
are
flight.
you?
I'm in Medford, Oregon.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty close. Probably not to drive, but there's probably cheap flights, right?
Yeah.
Someday when we have cons again.
One day.
All right, we got a couple other ideas here. Point salad. I'm assuming you guys have played from AG.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Sean. They do know that one, so that would. This one I've heard of, but I've not actually played. Anomia, Nick Elkins, filler.
I think he got us.
No, I've heard of Anomia.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I just do you remember how it's played? Because now I'm thinking I've played
give us a quick shot about that. Does this help you out? Steve says his daughter loves it. Does that help you?
That's so cute.
No,
Is
but
that
a game you talked about with Rado.
Oh,
probably so. That sounds sort of familiar. I know the name and that's it. I know nothing about it. But Nick actually taught me. Cabo was your number one game. Well, oh shoot, I spoiled the video. Cabo was your number one game, and I know it, of course, as the Silver Series, and that's what Nick taught me at BGG. So, and now I've got all the silvers. I don't have the brand new Dagger one.
Dagger,
I absolutely. You got everything you said about Cabo applies to silver. It's absolutely fantastic. My scouts love it. They love playing it. They love the fact that there's bluffing in it. And also there's a little bit of memory, and they're better than that than the old Scoutmasters. So they know they can beat that.
Which one's your favorite version?
So far, man. So far,
Bullet's chaotic.
Yeah.
Coin has the coolest, weirdest powers. And so far I'm enjoying Coin because it really there's a lot of interaction between all of the different cards. I've looked at the rules for Dagger and looked at some of the cards, and I haven't played it yet, but I think Dagger is going to be my favorite because it's almost they kind of went back toward the first series, yet still having some cool powers. So
good.
Mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coin
That's
is
awesome.
Bullet, as you said, chaotic, but Coin is really, really interactive. I mean, all the cards seem to do stuff together. So
Right.
So Sean's got one that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Have you guys played the Great Barrier Reef from Travel Buddy Games?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, and we haven't played it, but we've only heard of it.
Very cool little thinking game. Wow, man, Mark's giving you. It's almost like he knows you. He says that he's so good at teaching games.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Oh, here's a candidate. Lattice Hawaii.
I've never.
Is that a real game, Jay? Or are you pulling our legs?
I've never heard of that one.
No, I don't know that one.
Lattice Hawaii. I'm gonna write that down.
Mark says ecosystem.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of that one either. Is that a new one? Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Mark will have to tell us. So Nick says you flip over cards in Anomia with a category and a symbol on them. If 2 of them match, then you have to say an example of the category.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. When you have a word on your tongue and you just can't think of that word, that's where I've heard of it before. But
that game is so hard. I played it once. I don't know if you're familiar with Eric Yurko. He's What's Eric Playing? He does like written reviews.
Sure.
I played it with him, and he completely destroyed everybody. So don't ever play that game with him.
Eric's good with all little small games, man. He's very good with those. We're fellow Punchboard Media. Yeah, he's on Punchboard Media.
That's right.
We hang out at Gen Con, so that's usually where I see him because he's on the West Coast, so I don't get to see him more often than that.
Yeah.
Jay says he wants to try out Silver Dagger, and Nick says here's an example. I might have ice cream flavor, and you have insect with a symbol that matches. So what it's using 2 sides of your brain, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. I can see why your daughter might be very good at that. There's just some people who are very good at it, and some people where it's harder.
I can't think of it, but I heard of a game that's either coming out or is already out where it's from Scorpion Masqué, and it's where one person is giving you clues of one type, asking you trivia type questions like,
Yeah, they're dice.
What's the next number? 4, 5, 6. What's the next number after that? Which sounds simple, right?
Right.
But the other person is making you do something with your hands, maybe, or some other kind of thing. So you have to keep flipping these, and doing these answers, but it's using two different sides of your brain at the same time.
I have heard of that game.
That's what I'd love to watch people play. I don't want to play it.
Right.
Because the silliest things. It's going to be like, what's one color of the rainbow, and you're like 6. You just
oh my god, that'd be so entertaining.
Here's a game Steve's been talking about a long time. I've never got to play. Have y'all played Limes?
No.
I always see the box, and like I want to explore this game, but I don't know anything about it.
I never heard of it.
I don't either.
I'm gonna write that down. Limes.
All right, Chaku. If you want 10 or 20, actually, with the Rado's choices. If you want 20 awesome, amazing filler games, check out that video. Monique and Naveen have top 10 filler games. It's going to be a lot of fun. DJ for more Game Gumbo. I've got my guests here, Monique and Naveen from Before You Play, and we're talking spicy hot games. And one of those games is a game. Here's why I wanted to talk about it. I followed Ryan Courtney's page on Pipeline. I do oil and gas work down here in the South, and so I'm following the page. Then when I saw the end result, it was a little bit different than what I was thinking of. But this game looks really interesting. Curious Cargo from Capstone Games. You guys have played it, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, give us an elevator pitch. What is it all about? And there's two of y'all on the screen, so
we're over here.
Yeah.
Everything is frozen.
It's a 2-player only.
Mm-hmm.
So it is. If you've played Pipeline before, you'll recognize the pipe tiles because it makes use of the similar pipe system. Except the difference is this is a 30-minute experience. It's a 2-player only game where you're pushing cargo back and forth, and you're trying to meet. I believe there are like 2 or 3 ending game objectives, and you're trying to beat the person out, before they beat you.
Right.
And it's interesting because you are both shipping and receiving cargo. So as soon as the opposing player ships cargo to you, you are trying to receive it as well.
Exactly. So there's kind of this circular pickup and delivery kind of thing going on. So my cargo ships out. If Monique can build up a network of receiving pipes, then she can also score points via the reception of these different cargo.
Yes, and if you notice that the pipe tiles only have 2 colors on them, and that's because they are really hard to make work. Like that is the game, I would say. A big part of the game is obviously trying to configure the trucks, because there are trucks that you have to put out in order to pick up and deliver this cargo. But the real hard part is configuring those pipes, and they're not technically pipes. I think they're technically conveyor belts.
Yeah, I think so.
But they don't ever work out the way that you want them to. Like you want the conveyor belt to go this way, and it's going to go this way.
Right.
So in this game, that's different from Pipeline, is you can actually overbuild on those tiles. So you have to have an eye for that sort of thing, like being able to reroute your pipes.
When you say overbuild, you're hanging off the edges?
So you actually have. Technically, you can hang off the edge because you have these. I forgot what they're called now.
They're called.
You have these square tiles to begin with that you can kind of put under the hanging over part of it. It's a scaffold. Yeah. But you literally put a pipe tile and you put it over a pre-existing one, making whatever it's covering null and void.
You know how in most games, the rule is, okay, if it's a 2-piece tile, then one has to be showing. This one you can literally block out and just completely cover up. It doesn't have to be, like one of these kind of situations.
Yeah, so, you're constantly rerouting your routes. Yeah, that's the hard part.
Dean says he loves Pipeline. Dean from Mapletown. I really want to play Curious Cargo. Yeah, Dean, I'm the same way. I wanted to play Pipeline, and then I saw the playtime and I saw the complexity. And I don't mind complex games. Hopefully, we'll talk about some of those tonight. But this kind of drills down some of the fun aspects of Pipeline.
Yeah, it takes a big part of Pipeline and makes it into its own separate game. Yeah. It's nice because it's such a short, intense experience. You are engaged the whole time, and you're trying to figure out a way to get there before your opponent does. But it's very different because Pipeline is an economic game. And it's all about like, how much can I spend to get most, bang for my buck?
You're min-maxing in pipeline a lot.
You're constantly trying to find out how can I make money. And in this game, you're not doing that at all. There's no currency.
That's right up Philip Millman's alley. So I'd love to hear if he's played Pipeline or not. Verla, are you familiar with Pipeline?
I've seen pictures of it, but I have not played it.
I followed the development on Facebook from the start. Ryan had a little Facebook page as he was developing it. And man, this guy has some unique parts to his design. Really, really thinky in terms of those tiles. But the tile aspect and the economic aspect together seems like a brain melt. So maybe this Curious Cargo might be the better version for me.
Pipeline is really hard. It's really hard. And he, like we've been speaking to Ryan Courtney about what he's working on, and he's actually coming out with an expansion for Pipeline that makes it even harder. And it's coming out in like December-ish. So if there's anybody out there who wants Pipeline to be harder, your wish is going to be granted.
Super brain melt. And that is Curious Cargo from Capstone Games. Playtime, you said about 30
minutes. It really is quick. If everybody knows, or like if both players know how to play.
Yeah, and the rule set is actually pretty simple.
It's not a complicated game. It's just hard to figure out, I guess, initially. And for people who kind of play it over and over again, who are looking for variability, it does come with, if you flip over the conveyor belt tiles, there are 3 colors on the opposite side. So you can make a harder game in the future. So this is a game that can stick around for a while.
Verla, what do you think?
I'm going to check it out. Yeah,
it looks pretty cool. And that's from Capstone Games. Curious Cargo coming out. It's already out?
I think that it's releasing very soon.
They did a pre-order, and I think it's now they're fulfilling those orders.
Yeah, I think they're fulfilling in next month, I would say.
Okay.
BJ Morgan Gumbo, I've got my guest Monique Naveen from Before You Play, and we're talking spicy hot games. Well, maybe not always spicy hot as in recent, just spicy hot as the way they like to play. And one of those is a game that I love playing with my little board game club, my little high school people, Yokai Septet. And I found out, I thought I was the only one that knows this game. And then I found out you're big fans of Ninja Star.
Yes, I think they're local. I think that's probably part of the reason why we knew about them. They go to all of the Strategicon conventions.
You've run into Dan from Ninja Star?
Yeah, Dan demoed Yokai Septet to us at the convention when he first released it, and we played it with him. We were like, we have to have it.
Who knows it? Who can give us the elevator pitch? What is Yokai Septet?
I can do it. Yeah. So it is a 3 or 4 player only trick-taking game. Obviously, most trick-taking games, it requires at least 3 players.
Right.
In this game, it is, if you play it 3 players, it's every person for themselves. If you play it 4 player, it's 2v2 with limited communication with you and your partner. And basically in this game, there are 7 suits, and the only thing that's common in each suit is that the number 7 is present. So every single suit is staggered from 1 to 7, then the next one is 2 to 8, 3 to 9. And ultimately what you're trying to do is win tricks with the 7 in it. Because in a team game, I think you want to win 4 of the 7 sevens. But the trick is, if you win 7 tricks without meeting your goal of getting those 7s, then you lose. So the game is very interesting in that you can be losing tricks by making your opponents win tricks, but if they're not winning the correct tricks, then they lose. I hope that makes sense.
Yes.
And also because of the I'm sorry, go ahead, Berla.
I just said that sounds fun.
Yeah, and the strange things, the way that he talked about those cascading 7s, where they start out as the strongest one of maybe it's the blue. I can't remember what color.
The green one.
The green one. And then blue, I think, is the strongest. The 7 is the strongest one. I forget how it works, but it'll go from the weakest to the strongest, and it's sliding around in there. And you do have to kind of card count. You have to kind of remember who's got the 7s. I've played it with 3 players. Good. But playing with 4 players where you have partners and you're just trying to figure out what your partner has and how strong they are, because you don't want to both be so strong that you're going to shoot the moon and win 7, because the other 2 partners are laughing all the way to the bank. We've got terrible hands. We're gonna win this for sure. Which Verla sounds counterintuitive. We have terrible hands. And we're gonna win, right? But the thing I think that we didn't talk about is the fact that at the start of the game, like any typical trick taker, except for Bure, you actually pass part of your hand to your left. It's not your partner though, right? Your partner's across from you, if I remember right.
In a 4-player game, I think you do pass to your partner.
Oh, you pass them to the partner.
Yeah,
No,
in
you're
a
right.
3-player you pass.
In a 3-player, you pass. Yeah, this way. In a
Mhm.
4-player, you pass your partner. Because that's the only communication that you have with them,
Right.
essentially.
Okay.
Sounds like a tricky game. Yes, Jesse. We
is,
saw what you did there. I love trick takers, and I love partnership type trick takers. We played a lot of hearts and spades when we were in class at LSUE many years ago in the summer. And this is one of those that I wish I had back there, because I just love that mechanic where you're trying to stay in the middle of the tricks to get the points. I mean, you got to get to 4 so that you have more points than the other person. But after that, once you get to 4 and 5, then then you're trying to tap on the brakes as best you can.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that staggering of suits makes it really hard to card count.
Are you seeing Yokai Septet in the wild? I know that Dan has it available in the States now. It was an import from another company.
I don't see it in game stores. I haven't. No. To answer your question, I wish I did. It's so fun, but we haven't seen it too much. Yeah, there you go. That is the staggering of suits.
That's it.
So you might play like a 8 of the blue and think, wow, this seems like a medium high number, when really it's the lowest, one of the lowest numbers of its suit. So
now, typically, because the high school players are rotating in and out every week, we typically just play the basic rules where it's just winner scores a point. But as you can see, I have the advanced scoring rules where each of the different tricks become different weighted values. So winning that green 7 is not really as great as winning that blue.
Right.
But the problem is, in the blue, the 7 is the weakest card. So it's a strange dynamic, especially since, if I remember right, the green suit has kind of the super trump card.
Super trump, yeah.
A card,
the
right?
A, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So Dean, well, yeah, you could get ugly Christmas sweater. I know that you're going to do that. You ought to check out, if you can play with partners, you can check out Yokai Septet from
Ninja Star
Game. Yeah. Oh, almost forgot it there. All right. BJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guests here, Monique and Naveen. We're rolling through some of the spicy hot games that we've all played. And one of those is a game I got to play with Alex Goldsmith. I've only played it once, though. So I'm kind of fuzzy on the rules, which is pretty typical for games of Gumbo. But tell us, Monique and Naveen, tell me about Hats. Cool looking game with some strange art, but a unique premise.
Hats is an interesting game. This is a game for 2 to 4.
2 to 4. Yep.
2 to 4 players. And in a four-player game, you play in pairs as well, just like in Yokai. But the theme is centered around Alice in Wonderland, like at the table where you're having tea. But it's a very loose game. You're really trying to curate a collection of hats, and each different suit is like a type of hat. And so over the course of the game, you're playing cards to this board tableau thing in the middle.
It's like the table.
The table, yeah. And as you can see, each card slot has like a certain specified number value. And so that at the end of the round, that's supposed to tell you how many points each suit is worth. And in this example, there's like 3 areas where there are pink cards. And so in this example, the pink would only be worth 1 point, because if they're duplicates, then it's just a lower numbered amount of points. But the thing is, over the course of the game, you're replacing cards with the cards that are on that table. So the values are constantly changing. And so the rules for replacing those cards are, it has to be either the same color, or your card has to be a higher number than the one that's already on the table. So you're doing that, and you're basically playing out your hand of how many cards is it? Like 8?
8, yeah.
Yeah, 8 cards. And at the end of the round,
quick playing.
Right?
Very quick, yeah.
Yeah, very
quick
quick.
playing.
Yeah, it's very quick if everybody kind of moves, but it's very thinky. It's like you want to try to figure out what you want to do before the game even starts, or else you'll just have like no direction. It's really hard. It's really
Verla, have you
hard.
played this one, or have you seen this one?
I tried that out at Essen. The person teaching it, English wasn't their first language, and so there was some disconnects there, and I really struggled to figure out what was going on, but I have totally wanted to try it again. I haven't really seen it out in the wild here, though, and I didn't get it like I should have when I was there.
If I remember right, it's got that replace a card mechanic, sort of like a Lost Cities, and when you're placing those cards, that even though it's just what seems like kind of a binary decision, am I place it here or not, or move it here or not, it creates all those things in your head, like what else is coming out, what points am what's my real goal in the next couple of places. So I didn't find it, I'm not saying it's brain melting, but I did find a good mental challenge as we played this game. Hats surprisingly had a lot of depth to it.
Yeah, you're constantly thinking, okay, I'm putting this out here to get points. How do I defend that card? How do I make sure it gets points later on? do I have the capacity to even do that? And so that's where the game gets really, really interesting, especially in a team game. Because you can set something up and then your teammate can just undo what you did. And you're like, oh,
you can't talk.
no,
why you're not reading my hints? And the thing is, you also have a favorite hat card that you're trying to be like mindful of that you're going to have left over at the end of the round. So you want
I
that.
didn't remember that.
Yeah. So the way that works is whatever card you have left over at the end of the round, you look at the suit and you add up the sum of that suit that you've collected in your scoring pile, and you subtract the value that's in your hand from that.
Exactly.
So you could potentially have minus points if you don't play your cards right.
And apparently you would get a cookie. I don't remember that part
I
of the game.
remember a cookie at the end.
Yeah. Whoever has
that.
collected the most unique colors gets the cookie, which is an extra 5 points.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
Naveen always gets the cookie. It's like his only goal in this game.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that you're moving the goals as to what each of those is. It the colored suits, right? The or is it the numbers that are worth different ones that can move up and down?
It's at the
colors?
end of the game. It's the colored suits.
Colors, yeah.
Colors, yeah. So it's in that game we were talking about with the Great Coral Reef game, the Great Barrier Reef game. It has the same similar mechanic where as you're placing cards down on your tableau, you're affecting what each of the different point scoring was. But instead of being colors, it's more in terms of shapes, like 4 in a row or 3 in a row or diagonal or thing like that. And that mechanic of knowing that if I'm going to go all in on this one way of winning, I'm just telegraphing to my opponent that's what my whole strategy is. You got to be careful with that, right?
Yeah, totally. That's interesting. We got to check that out.
Patrick says this sounds similar to Star Realms.
No,
Unless he's talking about race.
Unless he's talking about a
Pretty
different
different?
game.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty different. That one's a deck builder, Star Realms.
And Dylan says Festival of 1,000 Cats, another trick-taking game. I've heard of it. I don't know anything about
I haven't
it.
heard of it.
Yeah, I'm not
I've
familiar.
seen that box cover, I think, but we
Yeah.
haven't played it. But now we must. It's trick-taking.
Jamie Wallace is throwing out Bites. Now, Bites I've heard of, but again, I don't know a lot about that one.
We haven't played
Anybody
that
know
one.
that one?
Not familiar with that one. They stumped us 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Man, they're getting us here. Wow, that's a lot of them. And the last one, of course, is one I have heard of, and it's not a. I don't know if you. Well, actually, let me ask you: do you consider Mercado de Lisboa not a filler game? Well, maybe a filler game for Vital Lacerda.
Yes.
But
I would say that's like we call them super fillers, where it's like if the rule set is simple enough and it plays quickly enough but it doesn't play in like that 20 to 30 minute window. We push it to 30. People say like fillers are 20 minutes. So I would say that one plays in maybe like 45 minutes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
If you have a set of 4 players, it might be longer.
my definition is easy. If I can play a game a number of times, 2 or 3 times in 1 hour, then it's a filler. Steve has a good word for it. He calls them tapas games. Those little bite-sized games. So that in 1 hour you can play 2 or 3 little games, right? Or like For Sale or Can't Stop, you could play 2 or 3 times back to back to back in 1 hour. Then that's a tapas game or a filler game.
And this is not a tapas game.
Yeah.
You won't play it again. It's so brain burning.
You may want to play it again, but you're probably ready to move on to something smaller or bigger after this game.
Probably.
Mr. Sean wants to know, would you consider Race for the Galaxy a filler? I would say Jump Drive, yes. I wouldn't consider Race or Roll, though, fillers, though. What do you think? He says he could play it in under 30 minutes with 4 or less players. Wow, Mr. Sean, you're pretty quick, man.
Yeah.
We haven't played either Race or Roll. Race for the Galaxy is on our shelf of shame at the moment.
Shelf of opportunity.
Opportunity,
That's true. But I agree, Jump Drive is probably the filler version.
Totally.
All right, so back to the game we were talking about, of course, hats. What's the thematic nature of the chocolate chip cookie? Dean wants to know. I'm assuming that goes back to the big tea party in the Alice in Wonderland cartoon.
Yeah, definitely. It's on if you turn the scoreboard over, it's a napkin, and so you're supposed to put the cookie on that napkin. So I'm assuming it's like the treat that you would serve with your tea.
Yeah,
it's a really nice cookie. they went all in for that cookie.
Sure. Steve says the Mercado is not a filler; it's a fuller.
Yes,
I like that.
All right, Patrick is stumping us here. I don't know this. I don't know the name. I don't know anything about it. Verla, what is Ringmaster Welcome to the Big Top?
No clue.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds like a circus game.
I think Patrick's the big winner on this one. He stumped us with 2 or 3. BJ Morgan Gumbo, I've got my guest here, Monique and Naveen. We're talking spicy hot games. One of them is not technically a board game, but to me it plays like a board game. Have you guys played Among Us yet?
Yes,
Oh my
we
gosh.
have.
I've been playing it nonstop for the past 48 hours.
Yeah.
All right,
'Cause you
tell
can
us
play
what
it
Among Us is.
all around the world. It's a social deduction. I guess it's a video game.
Yep.
You can play on your phone or you can play on Steam on your computer, and essentially you're in like a space station, and everybody is trying to work together to fix the space station, to repair, doing tasks all around. But one or three people are imposters, and they are actually going around killing people,
Sabotaging. Yeah.
But they're-
Look,
yeah,
not
they're-
Dr. Gumbo. Look, Dr. Gumbo is working on a task.
Oh,
not-
Dr. Gumbo's friend.
He's not a traitor. Look, he's just working on a task. I'm not a traitor. I'm part of the crew, right? Look at that cute little pet I've got. Come on,
It's very cute. Oh my gosh.
Dr. Gumbo.
So, and you're trying to
Okay,
figure
so
out who
I'm
the
playing on my
imposters
phone, and the phone is free, and everybody else was playing on Steam. So I ended up, bad decisions were made. I ended up with two pets. on my
are.
phone.
Oh.
I bought the two little. I don't know why. You get knocked out of the game, and you're not out for very long. I mean, our games are never really lasting more than 5 or 10 minutes, right? I don't know about y'all, but
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty fast.
we had one epic game where we had a new player that we didn't know that well, and we forgot to tell them that if you get knocked out, by the way, Vero, you're not really eliminated. You're still a ghost, and you're playing with the crew. And
Okay.
you're you can still win with the crew if you can fix the ship before it's not traitors. It's what are they called?
Imposter.
Imposter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before the imposter actually, before the imposter destroys the ship or whatever it kills everybody,
Yeah.
you can still win if you can complete all your tasks.
Okay.
But the one way to learn how to who's who and who's not who, a lot of times, me being a slower player, I've lost, especially playing on my phone. I just don't like moving the pieces around on the phone, but I've got an iMac and it doesn't work for the Mac right now. But I'm moving around. So I liked everybody to distinguish themselves as much as possible. And our players are so devious. They've got pink shirts with white hats and white shirts with pink hats. So when somebody zooms past you and you see them murder somebody, I'm yelling that it was the person in pink. And they're like, well, there's two people in pink. Which one is it?
Have they ever named themselves a color? Because that's really confusing.
Oh, yeah, because we do that a lot. We say pink, pink, red, red, white. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so. Oh, name yourself a
I've
different
played a
color
couple
than what
games
you
where
are.
they're named a different color, and then now, like when you're in those meetings where you have to discuss, they're like, "Oh, it's red," but
Yeah.
which red? Who's red? Yeah.
Here's why I wanted to bring it up to. Why is it taking the board game world by storm? I mean, so many people in board games are playing it. Why do you think that's happening?
I feel like it encapsulates a lot of why people enjoy playing board games to begin with. And like right now, while everybody can't meet, it's so easy to just like open up your phone and just, here's my code, let's start a room. We can get playing in 5 minutes.
Yep.
And it's like the reason why people like social deduction games in general. I feel like it just kind of embodies that spirit. That's how I feel anyway.
Naveen, we typically don't like player elimination, though. How did they successfully get away from that in this game?
Well, so I don't think we said basically that the good guys in the game, they have to repair the ship or identify who the imposter is. So when you're
Yes, that's true.
eliminated, you come back as a ghost. So you're still doing things, and you can actually move through walls now as a ghost, and you can go complete tasks even faster with no repercussions. You don't have to worry about getting killed a second time.
Yeah.
And so basically you're completing your tasks, and then you're kind of seeing the whole process unfold in front of you. So you're like,
It is
oh my
fun.
gosh,
So you
that's
can-
the other imposter.
You can watch them murder.
Watch them murder and pillage and whatever they're
And
doing.
you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're not looking at this body.
But as
It's
a
just laying
ghost,
there.
But as a ghost, you have limited ability to communicate with your teammates. You can only communicate with the other ghosts now.
Yes.
So you can't just be like, hey, I was killed by Monique. So everybody, it's Monique.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of like wall. And then you're basically kind of rooting for your team. Like, come on, get that guy.
And it's so fast.
I had one where I completed all the tasks. So I basically walked around and I couldn't figure out who the other imposter was. I knew one of them because they throat punched me, but I didn't know who the other one was. So I followed everybody around trying to see who was. I was really involved, even though I was technically out of the game. But like I said, you're not really out. You're still in. You're still working on your task and everything.
Stuff.
Among Us, we have been addicted to it. We played it 2 nights in a row till all hours of the night. Just a lot of fun. Now, when we played it in the last, so that was Monday night. When we played it Monday night, we did a little bit differently. Normally, we're playing it on Discord, so everybody can talk. Now, the rules of the game say when the game is live, no one's talking. You're just doing your tasks, and that way you're not giving away like we've done accidentally. Oh, I got killed. No, you're not supposed to do those things. And then the debate starts whenever a meeting is called or a body is found.
Right.
But we changed it up in the last game on Monday night. Some people are there's an inherent disadvantage if you're not good at making up lies, on the spot, right?
Yeah.
Or you have trouble being confronted by people or even confronting people. Some people don't like that confrontation. So we did the game Monday night strictly by the in-game chat. Have you done it that way yet?
I have, mainly because I like playing with people around the world. Like you can go online and just like play, and I'll go into because I'm learning Spanish, I'll go into the Spanish channel or Filipino and play with them. But it's hard on the phone because of the text aspect to it. Like people on the computer are just so quick, and then they think that you're the imposter. You don't respond right away. But
I am not very good as the imposter live. I don't. Sometimes my alibis, they get crossed up. But if you give me a second to think about it, and I can type it in, I'm a little more devious. So I recommend one of the players that played with us hates social deduction games. I mean, BSG, we love Battlestar Galactica. Can't stand it. And he has enjoyed playing this. His wife has enjoyed playing this. And neither one of them are social deduction. They don't play Mafia. Don't play any of those other games. So I'll tell you, so far, I really like this Among Us. I got to admit, they've done a good job with that one. So
how many players does it go to?
10. You have a room of 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
When you get that high, I've only played with 2 imposters, but Monique, you said you could play up to 3.
Can do
right?
3. Yeah, that seems really hard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's possible. I mean, if you've explored the third map, that lava map, that map is really hard. It's huge. So I can't imagine playing it with less than 10.
We played it with 5 or 6, and boy, the pathways are tight in some areas and then wide open in other areas. Yeah. But you don't have any real safe zones like the cafeteria. Where the cafeteria is big enough to where everybody can see what's going on. So it's harder to murder people. Yeah, don't ever go in the med bay, people, by the way. Don't ever go in the med bay. You're going to get knifed. You're going to get knifed while you're body scanning. And you can't fake it as the imposter, right?
Yep.
But you get knifed and no one finds your body for minutes and minutes. And then by that time they're going, oh, I think it was Pink because they were the closest one. And Pink just happened to walk by.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with it.
Where is your favorite place to murder in this game?
I'm a traditionalist, man. I jump in the vent and just pop right out the vent. Right out the vent.
Clever.
And my heart's racing because you have to be quick. You got to pop out, take him down, pop back in the vent before anybody else sees you. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes people walk in the room and you go.
So the first time,
I don't know where that body came from. Then you're trying to hit report.
The first time we ever played, Monique didn't know that the imposters can go in the vent, and so in front of about 7 other people, you just see her disappear into a vent and then come back out, and then we instantly call a meeting. All right, Monique.
I couldn't say anything. I think I said no.
Talking about the vent, you think if you're the crew, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for people to pop out the vent, and then you just report them. The problem is that if they see you seeing them pop out the vent, you're a dead duck. They're going to just pop you right in the face. So it's
good game.
Yeah, Dean, can we erase that from the transcript? I know there's a lot going on here that we probably don't want to publish. The cafeteria is wide open and harder to murder people. That's Among Us from Inner Sloth, a game I never heard of until a couple of weeks ago when we started hearing about it on podcasts. And now, oh man, so much fun. One last game to talk about. BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guests here, Monique and Naveen from Before You Play. And I want to talk about a game that Jay Bell and I got to play. Social distance across a big giant table with masks on. But and we had a good time. I'm going to let Jay in the chat tell you about the score because I don't want to, I don't feel the need to talk about what the score was. But it's a game called Hoop Gods by the people that did Rap Gods. It's Board Game Brothers. They grew up right here in New Orleans, right down the road from us, a couple hours away. Omar lives further away now, but Hamu, who did all the artwork in this game, still lives in New Orleans. And Jay says, clearly, I kind of like this game. Such a good game. Who Gods? Have you guys played either that or Rat Gods, or familiar with either one of them?
We are familiar with both, but I'm the only one who's played. I actually played it once this week. Was the time? Yeah.
All right, tell us about your play.
I played it on. I think it was Tabletopia with Eric. And so it was a little bit more difficult, right, for us to try to like figure out how everything worked on the online platform. But it's interesting because the whole premise is like it's a 2-player only game, and it's street basketball, so there's no like fouls, and you can play dirty. I guess.
Fouls? Dunking on people's heads.
Yeah, you just gotta go for it.
So it's NBA Jam.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. Or I forgot the name of that game.
NBA Jam.
NBA Jam?
Oh, totally NBA Jam. Yeah.
So
it's NBA Jam. It's 3-on-3. It's super fast action. It's laying everything out.
Yes, it's 3-on-3. You're trying to get 7 points. That is the ultimate goal. But there's a lot of like dice rolling. 7
points, you say? So you're trying to get 7 points. Jay, did you hear that? You're trying to get 7 points. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Monique.
No problem. And the thing that I found.
7-0. Oh, man.
Oh my gosh, it is very thematic. I do agree with that. It has a really interesting kind of like an action power-up mechanic where everything that you do on your turn is by juice. Like you have juice and you have to spend juice in order to take actions. And the actions that you're taking are moving or playing cards from your hand. And the cards are stuff like shooting, dunking, or stealing the ball. And then your opponent has an opportunity to defend with the same cards as well. But everything is juice. Like once your juice has been used up, there's this bar that kind of shows up where a section of it is like your available juice, a section of it is like the amount of juice that you can't use. So it's a currency. Mm-hmm. It's a currency in the game that you're trying to kind of figure out how to give yourself more actions on your turn so that you can go and score points.
Gotcha.
But
one of the smooth things in this game also that Omari put in is that when you're running out of juice, it's a little bit of a cooling off period. It's going to come down at the end of your turn, and then you got to start sliding those back over. So for a while, you're going to be low on juice, which really means you're just playing defense barely if you can, not moving around much. But if you take that chance and you spend all your juice, you get into the red zone. And when that happens, you get one of the, Jay, help me out. It's
the goat. You get a goat.
The goat, the greatest of all time cards. You get these, and they all have crazy powers. So it's so much fun to tie one of those goat cards in the middle when your opponent thinks, he's out of juice, he doesn't have a move, and you slap down a spin move or something else, and you make this crazy play to shoot a 3 or to dunk. And I am so impressed with this game. I didn't think that a 2-player I thought it would be a little bit more like strategy. No, there is a lot of strategy in it, but what it captures is somehow the excitement of street ball and going up and down the court. I'm just that cool down mechanic that you're talking about using juice. It actually, most games like Funkoverse, which I love, have the cool down mechanic, and it feels like it slows things down. This is the opposite. It's like I'm going all out, then I rest. Then you're going all out, and then just like in a real game of street ball where both sides are taking it back and forth. Yeah, Jay says it's going to be different. He's been practicing. Dang it, it's online, so Jay can practice. Oh, this is going to be good. Are either one of you basketball fans?
I am. I'm a big one. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't follow it.
This is about as close to NBA Jam as you can think. Now, I haven't played NBA Jam in years, but boy, we used to dunk all the time in that game, and each one of the players is unique. Now, you're going to start out the game by drafting each a different player, and you're going to want to mix it up. You're going to want to have your guard. You're going to want to have your forward. You want to have your center. And each one of those, out of all those players, they all play differently. And if you're trying to dunk with a smaller player, or you're trying to do a steal with a larger player, it's going to be disadvantages or advantages. Now, the one thing that Jay and I did play. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Greatest of all time, Drew Brees. That's right. But it's got that speed rolling, and that if there's one issue I have in the game, and it's not an issue. It's just that I'm terrible at speed rolling. I beat Jay a lot of times just because on the very first roll, it came out what I needed. Right. Yeah. Because when it gets to games like Steam Park or Escape, I just terrible at that, rolling faster than other people and recognize them. So, but you can, from what I understand, play a friendly version where each person rolls, then each person rolls. So, a la bottom of the ninth, you can play kind of a friendlier version. Monique, which way is the way you played? The speed rolling version or y'all?
No, we played because it was online. We couldn't. It didn't have a way for us to kind of just like keep rolling. That would have been really difficult. So we played it the other way, and I would probably suggest doing the speed rolling, just because the luck factor is just way too strong in the way that we played. But as a speed roller, that'd probably be really fun.
And I think the speed, the reason I did play it this way, that Jay and I played with it, is like Steam Park, it creates that sense of urgency while you're playing, and you're going to lose some, but hopefully the next time you load up on dice, have 4 or 5, 2 more than the other player, and you can win them. So, it's going to be back and forth like that. I'll tell you. I really like this Hoop Gods. It's going to be out on Kickstarter in October. So keep an eye out for that. Board Game Brothers, and I'm so impressed. This is a very smooth design, and it's got really fantastic art from Honolulu.
It does. It has like that 90s.
You get a chance.
It's really cool. And the players are interesting because, like he was mentioning, you can choose like a smaller, medium, or larger size player, and depending on what size you choose, the hand of cards that you have will give you either benefits or disadvantages.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's like if you're dunking with a larger player, you get an extra die, or if you're doing it with like a smaller player, you have to spend an extra juice.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, that part of the game is really interesting, like the characters.
And I actually like the standees. I in the tabletop version, I think it's more like I think they're just like little tokens or something like this. But the standees actually look really cool. They match the art on the card, and I'm just a fan of the way they handled this game. It's really smooth. This for me it's a must back. It's an insta back for me. And all I have is a prototype, so we're playing a pretty advanced prototype with it, Jay and I. But I really enjoyed it. Jay, what is this? I'm trying to figure that out. Can anybody tell me what the score is on Jay's side? What is that? Dang, Jay, that looks like a 0 over there, man. Oh, wow. Yeah, I need to get rid of this picture, but it just seems to be stuck on my screen, Jay. What is going on here? No, hey, Sean brings up a good point. I haven't told Hamu this, but any fast-acting game, soccer, lacrosse, hockey, this could translate well. I'm telling you, this is a really cool system.
Yeah.
Really cool system. So that is Hoop Gods from Board Game Brothers, coming out on Kickstarter pretty soon. Got to check that out.
Yeah.
Oop, I pressed the wrong button there. Hold on, Steve. Sorry about that. All right. BJ from More Game Gumbo got Steve and Verla back here, and Monique and Naveen from Before You Play. And hey, chat crew, this is a board game show. You know what that means, right? Mm-hmm. We got to play a board game. Steve's got a game for us to play tonight, and we were talking about it before. You guys had a choice to make, though. What choice did y'all make? Steve, give us a quick hit on the rules.
Sure. We're going to play the LV game, which is, as BJ is fond of pointing out, his Louisiana way of saying a hankering to play something or a jonesing to play something. So we gave you guys a choice that you could either have one game each, or you could settle on one together that will be your super secret game, and we're going to try to guess it. Did you go 1 or 2?
We went 1.
One game.
You're united. Okay. All right. So what's going to end up happening is we'll kick around. Verla, BJ, and I will kick out some questions. We'll be paying attention to the chat crew also. They'll ask some questions, and we'll ask them on their behalf. And it'll be a race to see who can figure out what game you're thinking about, or if you can, we can talk about basketball. If you can play 4 corners and keep it away from us for the entire time.
Little Princeton ball. So, Monique and Naveen, what word do y'all use on the West Coast? Is it jonesing, hankering, or do y'all use envie? Is that the word y'all use traditionally in California?
Craving.
You never know, Steve. Somebody's going to say yes.
You do know.
Depends on what part of
if I keep asking, odds are somebody's going to say yes at some point.
I think some people say
works.
Craving.
What's that? Craving? Okay,
Craving
good.
could work. Yeah.
I'm craving.
All right, so envie, a craving for a game. It doesn't matter if you own it or not. Just if you guys could finish the show, what game is it going to be? Don't tell us.
Yep.
We're going to try to guess.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask the traditional first question, and then we'll see. Chat crew, here's your chance. Is it a competitive or cooperative game? And I'm going to guess it's competitive.
Yes, it is competitive.
All right, Verla, what you got?
Does it play more than 2 players?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say it's a recent release in the last, say, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So far, so good.
I'm like nervous.
Dean is asking if it's a filler.
No.
No. And Monique's eyes went real wide at that one, like we're thinking heavy.
Is it a Euro style game?
No.
No.
Uh-oh. I already had a guess, and it's out the window. So not a Euro-style game, not a strategy game. Okay.
Is it an award-winning game?
Good question.
Ooh. No, I don't
We
know.
need to hear some clickety-click.
Oh yeah, maybe we should be.
You gonna look it up?
I want to say no. I'm thinking no.
I want to say no as well.
Okay.
Is it a legacy game?
No.
No, not a legacy game.
Would you say it's is it a game that plays cards?
Yes.
So there are cards in the game.
There are cards in the game. Okay.
Okay.
Is it a simple game where you just play a card and draw a card, play a card and draw a card?
No.
No.
Dang it. My guess is out the window. I thought for sure I knew what game you were going to think.
Asking if there are dice in the game as well.
No.
No.
Oh, sorry, wrong one. Dice. No dice in the game? Okay.
Dice, cards.
Dean says, is it super thematic?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Is
Maybe we
it
should
mostly
try to-
cards, or is there a board as well? An actual board?
Combination of the two, but mostly cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And y'all love card games, that's for sure. So I
There's a
am totally...
board, but mostly cards. Are you laying those cards in a tableau of some sort in front of you, or are you playing them in actions?
I think a little bit of both. There's a little mix of both here.
A little bit of
A little
both.
bit of both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jay wants to know if it's got a space theme. Space theme?
No.
No. Jesse wants to know if it's got miniatures.
Yes.
Technically, yes.
Technically.
Dean, that might kill yours. He wants to know if it's Clank.
It is not Clank.
Yeah, no. It's got meeples, but not miniatures. Nick wants to know, this was my guess. Was it a Lacerda game?
It's not.
Yeah. See, I was thinking Lisboa. I was like, oh, Monique's going to go Lisboa.
Yeah.
I do.
Like,
Dang it. So y'all double-crossed me is what happened. You were thinking,
Exactly.
is this the game that I was thinking
So
of?
maybe do a
Is
little
this what you're-
recap here. It's a competitive game, last 5 years, mostly cards, but there is a board. There aren't dice. We don't think it's an award winner. Super thematic, not a filler. There are miniatures. We don't know a
Wait,
publisher.
there are miniatures?
They said there technically are, right?
yeah, I wouldn't run
Okay.
with that. But
Maybe if
there's
you're saying there's figures of some sort that you're putting
there's
on the
figures
board.
of some sort.
Okay. We don't
And we're
know
not sure.
publisher or theme yet, but we know thematic. Did I miss anything
Steve.
there?
We're not sure if it's an award winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Steve, it's miniatures, sort of like I'm the #1 Facebook Live show. Sort of that, that.
Kinda.
So Bruges. I don't
No.
think it's Bruges.
No, not Bruges. That is a great game.
Oh, I
And
like
it's-
that game.
Definitely not Munchkins, right? Yeah, not much. Patrick, nope, not Munchkins.
I like Jay trying to get at what the theme was. It wasn't space, but if it's super thematic, if we can narrow down what the theme is, I think that's going to help us. Would you say it's kind of is it an economic game?
Yeah, is
No.
there money in the game?
No.
Oh, well,
There is currency in the game.
there is currency in the game, but I wouldn't call it an economic game.
Mr. Sean wants to know if it's got an Asian theme.
Nope.
Steve and Berla, we probably should try to think of some designers here. Maybe
Yeah, that's a
Mary.
good question.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you got it.
I was going to say, is it an American designer?
Yeah.
I see this.
So,
Yeah.
I believe so.
Is it a fantasy theme?
Technically,
Yes, technically.
yes.
If it's fantasy realms, I'm going to shoot you, Naveen, because you said you don't like fantasy realms. I did my homework.
I would never agree to fantasy realms.
It is
Okay,
not
good,
Fantasy
good.
Realms. It is not Agricola.
Not Agricola.
Yeah, Nick, not Agricola. Yeah. Oh, yes. Mr. Sean was thinking something. What, Sean? Mr. Sean, I'm curious. What were you thinking? What would it have been? All right. So an American designer with a miniature-ish game in the last 5 years, still in print.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
Was it on Kickstarter at all?
Further, you beat me to it. Good question.
I don't think it was kickstarted.
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay.
Animals in the game.
Yes, technically.
Technically, yes.
Technically.
Technically.
There's a lot of technically. This is not
Yeah.
When you find out what it is, you're like, yes.
Yeah, of course.
Have we got a theme? It's fantasy is the theme?
Fantasy, technically, or
Technically. Is it in the BGG top 100?
good question.
I'm going to find out. It no.
No.
Are we talking Shadows of Brimstone? No, wouldn't be that. That's got miniatures all over the place. So
Yeah.
not gonna be that.
You said American designer whose name most gamers would recognize.
Ooh,
Good question.
most gamers? I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Matai. Interesting.
No,
No,
not
not
Matai.
Matai.
Oh, now you know that's a West Coast designer. Cry Havoc, Grant Rodiak's game.
Oh, I didn't realize that was his game.
No?
No, that's not it.
No.
No.
A lot of people may recognize the designer. Now that I think about it,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm not sure if it's like a household name or anything.
So not a big name like a Rob Davio or a Eric Lang or something like that.
I think it is, but I'm not sure.
To like the hardcore board gaming community, probably.
Yes,
To people who are just getting into the hobby, maybe not.
probably not like Rob Davio. That's
Yeah.
like a pretty
Not like
big
Eric
name.
Lang or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And Eric's a Canadian, but Nick says Shadows of Camelot. No, those are French designers and an amazing game. But great guess though, Nick.
Should we get any more mechanics, you think? Would that help?
Yeah. Burley, you got something on that? Oh, social deduction. There's no traitor or hidden traitor in it there.
No.
No.
I was
So
going
it's
to
not
ask,
among us.
are there any expansions for this game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there are.
Wow, didn't hit Kickstarter, but it's had a lot of expansions since then. You know, we don't know what the game does though.
No. That's
Do
not
we?
true.
We don't know what the game does.
Well, they said that there are miniatures. Is this a worker placement of some sort?
Technically, yes. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I would necessarily categorize it as worker placement.
You're putting things out, but you're not necessarily getting powers from where you're placing.
It's technically not a worker placement game. Does that help, Steve?
Yes.
It kind of is.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is.
Kind of
I guess it
yeah.
kind of is.
Oh, good question. Is it mythical
Good
creatures?
question.
Is that why Naveen was hesitating?
It's mythical. They're
Technically.
Well, I don't like. Well, the term mythical kind of like reminds me of like myths and legends. I would say that they're more just like fantasy. They're fictional characters, fictional animals. Yes.
Fictional animals.
Animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Animals,
so animals, fantasy cards,
Kickstarter,
miniatures.
American designer, last 5 years, card play primarily.
Cthulhu fantasy? Cthulhu type horror? No?
No.
Oh, Mr. Sean says root.
No, but
No.
I can see that. That's a good guess.
Yeah,
so,
that is
yeah.
a fantastic
No.
guess, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not quite miniatures. They're more like meeples, but they're not really because they look like little, they've got the painted faces on there. Interesting.
I feel like we're missing an obvious question here.
Is it area control? Is that the main mechanic?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, not area control.
What about deck building? Do we ask
No.
that? No deck
No,
building.
not
It's not like builder.
Jesse wants to know Lords of Waterdeep. That's definitely worker placement.
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
not
see, that's
that.
definitely worker placement. Yeah, this has.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of. Is it that 1 hour wonder 60-minute game or is it a much longer game?
I would say it's like a 60-minute
Yeah.
game, depending on number of players.
And Steve, it's in the last 5
designer?
years?
Or
Single.
single designer?
In other words, are they available? Are they taken? Are they married? No, wait, that's not what you're talking about, right? No, Steve.
Yeah, not what
No.
I'm looking for, BJ.
Solo design, like by themselves.
Yeah.
No.
Swipe in the other direction, BJ.
Multiple.
Good
Yeah,
question.
Nick. She said technically not technically worker placement.
No, there is. There is
Yes, they say.
technically worker
More like an
placement.
action selection type thing.
Yes, I would say it's a mix between the two.
Yes.
Yeah.
A blending of the two.
Yes.
Wow.
I was thinking the same thing with Bunny Kingdom, but I think there's a bigger board than cards in that.
Bunny Kingdom.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Good guess,
yeah.
though. Yeah.
Can more than 4 people play it?
Yes.
Are the players' avatars the animals?
They can be, I think.
Yeah,
They can be.
They can be.
Yeah, they can be.
They can be.
Wow. Orleans?
No.
No.
not Orleans.
No.
No.
Good try, though, Joel. Man, this is a tough one. I'll tell you, this is a tough one. So one more recap, and then I think, Steve, we're going to have to call it.
Yeah,
What do you think,
okay, so
Berla?
recap, in the
More recap.
last 5
Yes,
years, not Kickstarter. We don't think it's an award winner. Fantasy theme, technically. Animals, technically. Worker, technically. There is a board, but it's more cards that dictate gameplay. American designer that we probably recognize the name of, a sole designer on the game. Am I missing any other big things? A fantasy, technically, theme? Everdell
Yes.
bringing up.
That's what I was just going
Not-
to
it's
No,
not
not
Everdell.
Everdell. No.
Do you want a
Good-
big hint? Oh, it's not Good Critters.
Yeah, not good critters.
And you said there was money in it, but it wasn't economics. So not Raccoon Tycoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, not right.
That, that either.
Those are not the-
you got a hint for us?
Yes. So it's design team.
Oh,
Big hint.
Is this the Flat Out team?
Mm-mm.
No, not Flat Out team. Design team.
Is it Prospero
wait,
Hall?
It's Prospero
are we talking
Hall.
about
Prospero
Funkoverse?
Hall.
It's not
Funkoverse?
Funkoverse, but it's Prospero Hall.
Are you a Disney Villainous fan?
Yeah.
You know, it fits all the things they said. Mythical
It does.
creatures.
There's a
Technically.
board.
Miniatures.
Technically,
There is a
really-
board, but it's
Action
really
selection.
card based. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Disney Villainous.
Villainous.
Oh, I didn't know that you guys were fans of Disney Villainous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like it as a
single
2-player game.
designer. That was so clever that you answered that question. Just technically correct. Single designer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Technically a worker placement game, but really more action selection. But I mean, you know,
Yeah.
but not really worker placement. Even though you're moving your workers,
Mm.
no, you're not blocking other people from slots.
Yes,
But then again,
correct.
you're limited to the action that you select with your worker. So, yeah, look, tough question. So,
Nice.
I feel
This
like,
is
just like you're supposed to do your research on the guests, BJ, they did a little research on you and came with Disney.
I think so.
oh,
I think they did, is the old switcheroo.
Yeah.
I've heard of Walt Disney. Is he like a famous person or something like that?
Yes.
A little bit.
Walter, to
Walter.
people who don't know him.
Walter Elias, yeah. Brother Eve, Uncle Eve, you know him well. I can't believe we got stumped that long with Disney
Well done.
Villains, which we talk about almost every week on the show. Chat crew, you're all fired. All of you are fired. You obviously have never seen the show before. We should have gotten that one before. That was fun.
Good job.
I was really stumped on that one.
Yeah. The big hint was what was the difference maker.
Yeah.
Dean says Villainous, it's fun times. I will call shenanigans on that. I love Disney Villainous. I own everything for Disney. I own all of it. But I don't like playing it more than 3 people.
Yeah,
I really
no.
don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
3.
You don't want to play it with 8 like I did twice?
What?
She did.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my
Tell
god.
us the story, Verla. What happened? I
Oh,
mean, that's
goodness.
just crazy.
It was just crazy. It was long. People were learning. People were getting distracted. It was kind of chaotic, and I wouldn't recommend it.
How long was it?
3 days?
3 days, 6 maybe.
Oh my goodness.
They all started to blur together. It kind of felt like 2020.
Yeah, it's all one
Dean,
thing.
we're gonna have to, Steve. We're gonna have to get Dean back on the show and have a Disney off.
Agreed.
I
There you
feel
go.
like he's a worthy opponent.
But I think we also need John to sing along and narrate as Dean is the guest at the
I
same time.
feel like Dean
There we
might be a
go.
worthy opponent. Yeah. He named his son Elias after Walter Elias
that's
Disney.
cool.
Very nice.
Nice.
Are both of you Disney fans?
We are, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we live so close to Disneyland also.
It's not open
I
right
had-
now, but we live close.
I had been to Disneyland just once, but I really enjoyed my trip. Yeah. I was there for the 50th anniversary.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Oh, that's fairly recent.
I think
right?
the recent was 75.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was 2005. Yeah. Because, and we all know the opening of Disneyland in California because, July 17th, which just also happens to be my wife's birthday. And I always remind her that it's easy to remember my wife's birthday because it's the opening of Disneyland, right? I mean, that's something everybody should remember.
You're determined to hurt yourself. Determined.
She's never watched the show. She has no idea about this joke.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Dean says he'll come on, but not for John to sing. So I don't blame him that. that was a lot of fun. That is the Envy game. I'll sort of take the win on that one, although that was a pretty big hint. I think really Monique Naveen won.
Yeah.
You guys did your homework. I was absolutely convinced it was going to be Lisboa.
I know.
We tried to stay away.
Yeah, we wanted to stay away from the obvious.
Yeah.
All right, so Christian's just getting here. I think we should start the show over. Sure. We can take it right from the top.
You ready to hit start now, BJ? 3, 2, 1.
Give him a recap.
Quick recap. We did a lot of games. Christian, you're just going to have to watch it on YouTube. Sorry about that. Well, all right, board gamers, that's it for another episode of Gumbo Live. That was the Envy game sponsored by Game Toppers LLC. They sponsor the Southern Board Game Fest. Berkey is a fantastic sponsor of our little local fest, which raises funds for New Hope Foundation. And make sure make all your game nights a showstopper, Monique Naveen, when you play on a Game Topper. Hey, how can people reach you if they have never heard of you or want to catch your channel or catch some of the videos that y'all have been doing? How can they reach you?
We are at YouTube or Instagram.com/beforeyouplay. And I myself am on Twitter. Naveen doesn't really do social media.
Not much.
So on Twitter,
I don't blame you.
_ There's an underscore in that. But that's pretty much it.
I actually do not blame you. So make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/boardgamegumbo, and our YouTube channel. It helps us to get the word out about all of our upcoming shows, including next week. We've got Tim Burning from Thunderworks Games. We're going to be talking about Role Player Adventures. If you haven't played that before, a fantastic game. I'm going to send Verla and Steve back into the green room. Just for a second, we'll send everybody back down, and we're going to close out the show. We're going to visit. I am BJ from Board Game Gumbo, Monique and Naveen. And until next time, laissez le bon temps rouler.